Hi, today I'm going to talk to you about what I'm calling troublesome verbs. These are verbs that we tend to either get mixed up or use wrongly. Um, so many times we mix up set and sit or set and put. Many times we mix up lay and lie and maybe set with those as well, and raise and rise. And so I want to talk some about how they're different and how their parts are formed. Most of these are irregular verbs, and especially with lay and lie, there are some specific problems, or not specific problems, but specific challenges in remembering which form of the word to use. I'm going to begin with set. Set means to place something onto a surface. And it's always set, except for, of course, with the progressive, and it's setting. Um, okay, so I set my cup next to my plate. Probably that's past tense, but it could be the same with present tense. It could be something I do all the time. But it doesn't really show because it's the same form for both present and past. It's also the same form for past perfect or present perfect, so I have set that there before. Put means to locate or situate something somewhere. Please put your shoes by the door. Okay, so put is not as specifically down as set, because I could say, please put this poster on the wall, and it would mean, it would be just as good of an example. Put is not usually used for music. Many times I've had students ask me, may I put music? And really the way to say that is, may I play music? You could possibly say, may I put on music, or put on a record or a CD or whatever. But normally it's, may I play music? With clothes, you need to add on. So he's putting on a coat. Okay. Have you put a scarf on? Okay, so sometimes put and on gets split like that. Yeah, because you could say it either way. He's putting on a coat or he's putting a coat on. Okay. Here we have lay is the next one. Lay in the present tense is to place something somewhere in a position of rest. That's usually a horizontal position. The parts of lay are lay, laying, laid, and laid. So past tense is laid and past perfect is laid as well. But it's L-A-I-D and not L-A-Y-E-D. She laid her clothes on the bed. Okay. If I say she put her clothes on the bed, then that might communicate the same thing, but laid specifically means that they are horizontally placed. If I say she put her clothes on the bed, they might be in a messy pile, but if she laid her clothes on the bed, then probably she carefully put them in a horizontal position. Many times we use this talking about ourselves. I'm going to go and lay down, but actually that's not correct, and we'll get to what the correct word is. But lay has to have a direct object, as do all of these here at the top. Has to have a direct object, meaning you lay something somewhere, you set something somewhere, you put something somewhere, or you raise something. Okay? Raise means to lift or elevate something to a higher place or position. So the parts of raised are here, and it's a regular verb, you can see, because both the past and the past participle part only have ed at the end, nothing unusual. Raise your hand if you're ready to go. Okay? And so raise means to lift something, and in this case, your hand. Yeah. And all of the above are transitive. They require objects. Set my cup, put your shoes, putting on a coat, later clothes, raise your hand. They require that direct object. And all of them except for raise need some kind of adverb or adverbial expression. You could use, as I did in these cases, next to my phone, by the door, on a coat, I used adverb phrases. You could maybe use adverb clauses, like, please put your shoes wherever you like, okay? Or she's putting, oh no, that one doesn't work. She laid her clothes where she laid them yesterday. And so those would be adverb clauses. You could use adverbs of place. So I set my cup here. She laid her clothes there. Okay. So they need some kind of place. Those three verbs. Lay, put, and set all imply downward motion usually. Lay something down. Many times we even use the word down. Lay it down, please. Put that down, please. Set that down over there, please. Okay, so they usually imply downward motion, and often we even include the word down as an adverb. The following verbs are intransitive. So down here, up here they're transitive, and the ones down here are intransitive. They do not take objects. Okay, sit means to be located somewhere. The parts you can see: sit, sitting, sat, sat. So the past tense and the past participle of sit are both sat. I found my phone sitting on that shelf. So that means that the phone was located there on the shelf. It's incorrect to say sit the phone down there, like with an I. We need to set the phone down, because sit does not take a direct object, and the phone is the direct object. You see the difference? So we set something down, or something is sitting somewhere. Or maybe I'm sitting here in my guest room, actually. To be seated in an upright position as in a chair. I'll sit on this bench. Okay, I'm not going to lie on the bench. I'm going to sit on the bench. And also, like if you are waking up in the morning, maybe you sit up in bed, and we might use the word up, to sit up. To lie, there are two meanings, and in another class, I believe it was, I was talking about the difference between lay and lie, and I asked the students to write sentences showing the difference between lay and lie, and many of them used the word lie, like to mentir, and that wasn't what I meant, but I counted it correct because I didn't specify. So I just wasn't even thinking about mentirosos. But anyway, one meaning of to lie is, and the one I wanted, is to be resting on a surface, usually horizontally. Like the sheep were lying on the grass, okay? The parts lie, lying, lay, and laying. And you can see where the problem it comes in that I was talking about before with the forms. Because the past tense of lie is lay. But there we have the word lay. And so that's a completely different word, and the past tense of lay is laid, okay? So you have to know what you're talking about to know which form you need to use. He lay in bed for days. That's past tense of lie. He was resting on a surface, horizontally, okay? He lay in bed for days. Let's see. And so the difference between lay and lie is kind of like the difference between sit and set. One is transitive, one's intransitive. You lay something somewhere and you lie down, or something is lying there. Okay, like the sheep lying on the grass. It shouldn't be the sheep were laying on the grass, but many times people make that mistake. There are also songs that use the word lay or laying when what they really mean is lie or lying, and that bothers me because I'm a singer and I'm also a grammar teacher, so I want to sing things that are grammatically correct. So that's just me. And the other meaning, which you know, is to say something untrue in order to deceive. The parts are lie, lying, lied, and lied. So this one is a regular verb. Were you lying when you said you'd try? So lying is deceiving with words. And then rise, again, is sort of like raise. It means something lifted higher, but raise is transitive and rise is intransitive. So rise means to be elevated or lifted to a higher place or position. The parts rise, rising, rose, and risen. So the sun rose at 6 o'clock a.m. The sun didn't raise, the sun rose. So you need to be conscious again of the different verbs that are similar but used differently in a grammatical way. The past perfect, this would be the sun had risen at 6 o'clock a.m. So we need that past participle form. Feelings of excitement are rising up within me. So just like with, let's see, sit up. You could say sit up. You could say rise up. You could say raise up. Okay, raise up the window maybe. So hopefully this helps you not only with the parts of the verbs, but the differences between the verbs that sometimes we have trouble understanding. Have a happy day.